Are you guys ready to make some Fathead bread that cuts just like the real stuff? Oh yeah, come on, let's go.
Bigfoot Cooking.
That's right, today we're gonna make some Fathead bread. We're gonna make a whole little thing of it like you just saw. And I'll tell you what, this stuff is great. The good thing is it's keto, it's gluten-free, and my daughter, who happens to be doing both of those things, loves the stuff. So that's right, this one's for you, hon. You asked for the recipe, boom, we're gonna do it. Now today, Fathead bread is so simple to do. That's what surprised me. I don't know why I'd never heard of this until recently. This stuff is easy. I mean, for the ingredients for this guy, we've got ourselves 1.5 cups of mozzarella. We got 2 ounces of cream cheese. We got 1 farm fresh butt nugget known as an egg. That's right, just went out back and got it. I've got 1.5 cups of almond flour. I've got 1.5 tablespoons of baking powder. And I've got 1 tablespoon of Italian seasoning. Now this is actually, they call it spaghetti seasoning, but I mean, it's the everything. It's got the onion, the oregano, the basil. It's got all the things that make the tum-tum go yum yum. So let's get this party started. That's right, let's start mixing up and making the ingredients. Now for this, I'm gonna use a food processor today. You don't have to, you can do this by hand, but you know, if you've got the easy, lazy way, sometimes why not? Now for this one, I'm using the dough blades because I don't need necessarily the sharp edges. I just need to mix all this stuff up. So for the dry, we'll add our almond flour, our baking powder, and our Italian seasoning. That's it. That's all the dry stuff. This is going to be a quick, easy, and simple show today. We'll lock it and just pulse this together. That way there's nothing that's not mixed up. Now for this other part, we're just going to take our mozzarella cheese that we shredded up oh so nicely. We get on in there. Our 2 ounces of cream cheese. And we are going to turn this over to Chef Mike. You don't know who Chef Mike is? Oh, you got to know the guy. His full name is Chef Mike Rowe Wave. Did you get it? We'll throw this in there for about a minute. And every minute you're going to pull it out and stir it. Let me show you. All right, when you first get it out, it's not exactly glorious looking yet. What we're going to do, we'll give this a good mix. Well, I guess the advantage to having this at just about room temperature, you only had to do it one time. Now, if you pull this straight out the fridge, I would put it back in for about 30 seconds at a time until you get this nice, smooth looking cheese stretch, for lack of a better word. But what we're going to do now, we're going to take, while this is still nice and warm, but not hot because we're not trying to cook this guy, we'll take our egg. Whee, nice, pretty egg. And we will put him right in here. Oh. And now you bust and mix. All right, now you know your egg is fully mixed in here when it once again turns nice and smooth. Oh yeah, this stuff is easy to work with. It is not complicated at all. So now, while this is ready, I'm gonna go ahead, turn the oven on, set it to 400 degrees and get that warming up. And then we'll pour this right in here. Now again, if you didn't have the food processor, not a problem. You don't have to use it. It's just some days you're lazy and this makes life so easy. So we'll just pour all of this into here. You know, if it wasn't for the raw egg in there, this would be a great time to lick the spoon. All right, so now that everything is into our food processor, well, let's just set this guy on low and let it go for a few minutes. And there you have it, some Fathead dough. Now, this stuff is sticky, I'll give it that. So you're gonna get it on your fingers. Now, if you wet your fingers beforehand, or if you can just play with it, if you don't mind a little mess on the fingers, it's not a problem. But just be forewarned, you're not gonna get this to do like regular dough, like a regular bread would do. So now let's scoop it out of here and scoop it into the dish we're cooking it in. Now we're gonna be baking it in this guy right here. Whatever dish you use, this one happens to be a Pyrex, but whatever dish you use, make sure it's oven safe, because if you put some of the cheaper ones in the oven, it does have the potential to crack, pop, and well, now you've got a giant mess along with not having a Fathead dough loaf. Now, I like this dish in particular because it's kind of straight on the side and flat on the bottom. This doesn't release as easy as you would like it to come out of one of these. So I've got myself a little parchment paper cutout. And to do the parchment paper cutout, you can sit here and cut the circle itself, Let me show you a little something. There's a trick to do these that makes life so much simpler. And we'll start this by turning the dish upside down, taking a little piece of paper, and what we're gonna do, we're gonna fold it in half, and then remember when you're folding where the middle of the paper is, because you're gonna take that spot and fold it in half again, and then start folding the corners. All right, we've got ourselves a little like dart, little throwy something. Now we're gonna take this and go to the center of whatever it is that you're putting it in that's round, right? And so we'll say that center right there. What I want to do is cut right here on this outer edge. So by taking it and snipping that guy off, we unroll, boom, circle. That's right. Not only is this cooking, this is arts and crafts. But we can set that guy right in there, and there you have it. Oh, now I have two of them. I'll have to make some more fathead later on. Make sure you spray this thing pretty well because it's not gonna wanna let go of this glass. Believe me, I know from experience. So we'll coat the paper, coat the bowl. And now, well, let's put the goodness in the bowl. That's right, y'all get on in there. All right, now this is a really dense dough, so you don't wanna totally mash it down in here, but you do wanna kinda tuck it down a little bit so that way everything touches everything and you get one loaf instead of 3 parts of a loaf. And there we have it. One very thick, very dense dough. That is the one thing about the Fathead bread. Yes, it will kind of fluff up in there thanks to the baking powder that's in it, but it's still going to be a really thick loaf. So, you know, if you're expecting light, fluffy, and airy, there are different recipes that do that, but for the true Fathead, not so much. It's going to be good though. So now we'll set this guy in the oven for 15 minutes. And while this is cooking, I hear Benson has a rather important bit of information to give you guys. So let's check in with him and see what's going on in his world.
Hey, did you guys hear about the race between a Yeti and a Sasquatch? The Sasquatch won by a Bigfoot. Hey, do you know what kind of dances a Yeti does? Me either, but they always go to the snowball. Hey, what do you call a Yeti with a 6-pack? An indomitable snowman. Oosha.
Ooh, hot right out the oven. Look at that guy. I tell you what, this works really well. Now, let's release it. That's going to be the tricky part because you want to keep everything looking really good. Now, right now, it's still pretty soft. So I'm probably going to give it about 10 minutes or so to cool off. But once it does, I'll take my knife, run it around the edge, flip it over, and that way it comes out of here and it still keeps that shape as like your bread bowl per se. So give me about 10 minutes. Let me walk around. Let me smell this thing because it's that Italian seasoning that's in it has just come right out and ooh, the whole kitchen smells great. So I'll be back in a few. All right, our guy has been out of the oven and out of its thing. And as you can see, it came out perfect. I mean, both sides look good, everything, just that nice toast. But let's see what we're hiding on the inside. That's right, I'm gonna grab my whopping big knife, which by the way, I got these are pretty tough. They got a good weight to them and I'm really partial to them. I actually reached out to them and they gave me an affiliate link. So if you guys want to check these out, this is actually one I would recommend. So food for thought there, but let's see what's hiding inside. We just slice this guy in half ever so nicely. Oh. And lo and behold, look, bread. It's even fluffed up. Now again, this is a little denser than, you know, what you would consider like, I guess your basic white bread, but nonetheless with the extra seasoning in there and everything, oh, this is so good. Tell you what, let's go ahead. Let me butter my buns. Get a little bit of that good old Kerrygold butter. That's right. This is the good stuff. We'll put a little dab here. That's a big old dab. I tell you what, we'll slice this guy pull him back. We'll cut him in half. There we go. Put a little half slab here, a little half slab here. And now, for that there moment of glory and goodness, time to make it disappear. Stand by. See, one thing I do like I say, it is a little bit denser, but with the extra seasoning in it, it tastes a whole lot like pizza. So that's right. If you wanted a bread that kind of tricked your mind into thinking you were eating pizza, this is the one. So while I finish my snack here, I want you guys to give this a try, and I want you to remember that Bigfoot is real. Y'all take care.